Welcome to the video, guys. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to build Beidou, and I'm going to teach you how to build it right. This is not a DPS build, this is a burst support build, so if you're looking for a DPS build, look out for it, subscribe, we'll be making one before you know it, but for now, we're sticking to the burst support. So I want to start off by premising this character is really good and very underutilized, and there's a lot of reasons why, but the main reason is she's a superconduct beast. She's going to be able to superconduct everything, and that's basically what you want with Eula, Rosaria, any physical DPS character. You want that going for you all the time, and she's great for it. She's amazing for it. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with weapons. Now for a burst support build, you're definitely going to want something with energy recharge on it. I choose Favonius Greatsword for a reason, because it gives you a little bit of energy on all your other people, and she wants a lot of energy recharge to where you can actually pop the ultimate consistently and get some good damage alongside some super conduct. So you're definitely going to want something with energy recharge on it. This is probably my favorite weapon for her, just because it is a pretty good weapon. It has a pretty good base attack as well. The energy recharge this weapon gives you is insane. 50%. It's only at level 70, so you can already only imagine what it's going to be like at level 90. That brings me to my next point. As far as leveling this character up, you're pretty much good at level 60 for a burst support. I'm probably going to go a little bit higher with her just because I do like how I use her, and she works really well with my physical DPS characters. So yeah, just, kind of get her pretty leveled up. Her weapon, you can level that all the way up if you want to. It's not very hard to do that. Character's a little bit more tedious, but definitely an energy recharge weapon here. So picking an artifact set for her can be a little bit confusing because there is a lot of sets that would work good with her, right? So there is the Thundering Fury set. It is really good. That's the one I'm going to recommend to you aside from this one. If you do not have a Noblesse Oblige set on your team, go with that. Noblesse Oblige works really well with her, and I also have really good Noblesse Oblige artifacts, so that's why I run that as well. But if you have either of the two, it works, and you're going to be using the same substats anyway, so just pick a set, Thundering Fury or Noblesse Oblige, and if you don't have those and you're a low level player, I would recommend going with an Instructor set, because you'll be able to get some elemental mastery out of that, which is very important. So for your basic substats, all you're really going to want to shoot for here is energy recharge for sure. You definitely need energy recharge, so try to get that on as many pieces as you can. Go with your normal crit rate, crit damage, get that on there. And then health is a really good thing, only if you have her C1. I'll talk about that here in a minute. And if you can't get health on her, if you're not C1 also, go with a elemental mastery build or attack percent. One of those two will do you the best. So what I like to run for my sands is energy recharge. I would 100% recommend that. If you do have enough energy recharge where you don't need that, then you're good. But what I would say you want is around like 200 something percent. So that's a lot. It's going to be hard to hit that number. So you're probably going to want this here. If you do have that already, then go ahead and pick out attack percent or something like that, or HP percent if you want her shield to be really good if you ever see one. All said and done, I would definitely say go with energy recharge here. You're going to need it. For a cup, unless you're going with DPS, you're definitely going to want electro damage bonus here. Is definitely the all-around best one to have. There's no doubt about it. Just pick one of those up. Doesn't matter what set you put it in. Usually I like to use this as the off piece, so just find yourself an electro damage bonus and you'll be alright. Now for the helmet, I like to go with crit rate here. Now what I would recommend you to do is just go with whatever you need. So if you need crit damage, do that. If you need crit rate, do that. I definitely need crit rate. This is still a purple artifact and this character still slaps, if that tells you anything. Crit rate's definitely a necessity for me personally because I'm using that greatsword. I'm trying to proc that little ability it has, so I do build it for crit rate. You could also do elemental mastery here. That would work pretty well with her if you're building her that way. That's also a nice substitute for crit rate. You could also run HP here if you want to have an extremely good shield with her, because that always works out too. It's very nice. So a little recap, you definitely want energy recharge. That's the main thing you're looking for here. She needs a lot of it. Crit rate, crit damage, whatever one you need. Usually you want that 1-to-2 ratio. I'm sure you heard it a million times. If you have a C1 after that, I would recommend that you go with HP percent so you can get a bigger shield. If you don't have C1, that's okay. Go with elemental mastery or attack percent. That'll get you where you want to be. You want to do some damage, that's what you want. I figured I'd also mention if you only have 2 Thundering Fury pieces and you don't want to, use some crappy artifacts that have bad rolls on them, you could run 2-piece Thundering Fury and then 2-piece Gladiators. That works pretty well too. Figured I'd mention that. So as far as Constellations go, I actually would recommend that you try to get at least C1. Like I was mentioning earlier, you do get a shield from her C1 whenever you do her E, or her alt, my bad. That is huge. If you haven't played with a shield character before, which you probably have because everybody has an OL, it makes the game so much easier when you do have something like that, and it's really great when you want to pair her with somebody like Chi-Chi. And if you want to see a Chi-Chi build video, and if you do have one and you thought she was completely useless, there's a link. It's going to pop up right here. Definitely check that out. It's a god build that they just now added in with the new artifact set. But aside from that, her C1's definitely worth picking up. Her C2's also pretty good. What her C2 does is it basically lets your arc jump to 2 people instead of just 1, or 2 more people I should say, which is actually a very big jump in damage. A lot more AoE with this one. It's very good. Aside from that though, these last 4, they're just kind of whatever. They're more gauged towards the DPS version of her. I will do a video on that later on, but you do not need those. I'd say Seed 1 is definitely worth it. Seed 2 is pretty good too. The rest are just kind of like whatever. You don't need it for what you were talking about here today, but definitely think about picking up C1. So for Beidou's talents, I would recommend that you just skip over the normal attacks, especially if you're not going with the DPS version of her. If you're going with the DPS version of her, definitely upgrade that, but we're not talking about that here today. So I'm going to recommend that you start off with Stormbreaker, upgrade this one first, max this one out before you even think about touching this one, because this is what you're going to be needing most of the time. This is just kind of whatever. You just kind of hop in, do it, get your energy particles, and that's about it. But upgrade that after you do your ultimate, and you'll be happy with that. Trust me, it's just the best way to do it. And as far as crowning this character, I'll let that be up to you. If you really think this is worth the crown, you could do that. You just got the user in your team. I'd recommend at least trying her out in a good superconduct team before you even think about doing it. But I could see where she'd be kind of worth it, because her ultimate is very, very good for elemental reactions. And there's going to be a superconduct buff coming here soon, so keep your eyes out for that. All her other talents do, I figured I'd fill you in on this because it does make a difference to her gameplay just a little bit. This talent just allows you to parry with her E and then do more damage, which is very important if you're trying to maximize your DPS. I usually don't even really worry about it, but that is an option there. This lightning storm one isn't really something that you're going to be using on support DPS, but I'll fill you on what it does. All it does is whenever you do your E, it'll let you attack a little bit faster, and you'll be able to charge up a lot faster on your charge attacks. This is more of a DPS Beidou little upgrade here, not really anything you're going to need. And the last one's just for swimming. You don't use as much stamina when you're swimming. It's whatever. It's nice whenever you're exploring. That's about it. Nothing really too crazy here, but figure I'd tell you about it so you knew what they did. So all in all, that is how you build Beidou. And like I said, you could either go with the 4-piece Fury, 2-piece Fury, 2-piece Gladiator, or a full Noblesse. That's what I would fully recommend. There's not really any other sets in the game right now that make a better use out of what she does. And if you're building Beidou, you're basically building her to make superconduct happen or elemental reactions. You're not really building her for her own damage. She doesn't do an insane amount of damage. You're just trying to proc those elemental reactions with your main DPS. That's basically the whole point behind her, in my opinion. She will do some damage though. She's not completely useless as far as damage goes. She does do some damage, and the more better you build her stats, obviously the better her damage will get. Mine does pretty good here, not really upgraded that far, and she allows me to proc superconduct like no one else, even better than Fischl in my opinion. As long as you got that energy recharge up and you're able to keep popping those ults, it's insane, I'm telling you. Until next time guys, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.